and think of Wren. This was the third morning. Nearby was the cave where Barver slept. Patch missed his dracogriff friend during the night, of course, but it was right that Barver spend time with his father. Patch made sure to send him off in the evenings, reassuring Barver that he'd be perfectly fine here in the camp. In truth, he wasn't fine. He didn't feel unsafe, though. Aaliyah was there, and Tobias. Both were formidable pipers, and Aaliyah had the added bonus of being a powerful sorcerer. There was also the small army they'd brought with them, with 40 battle pipers and 230 soldiers, as well as the 3 griffins who'd helped them in their doomed quest to track down the Hamelyn piper, 2 of whom were still seriously wounded. So, no, he didn't feel unsafe, but he did feel miserable, and strangely alone. Last night, Patch had noticed Myrta Strife, one of the griffins, sitting awake by the fire, near where the 2 injured griffins lay sleeping. He went over to join her. "You can't sleep," he said. Myrta shook her head and nodded to the slumbering griffins, Cramber and Wintle. "Cramber is healing well, Tobias tells me," she said. "But until he regains consciousness, his life remains in the balance." Cramber was laid stretched out with one wing tied to his side, allowing the dressings on his chest wound to be changed without having to move him. Wintle was beside him, curled up with her head under her wing. Cramber's breathing was ragged. Wintle's was regular and peaceful, but she'd taken a severe blow to the head. "How's Wintle doing?" asked Patch. "She spends most of her time asleep," said Myrta. "When she wakes, she's confused and can't see anything but a blur. The next few days will be key to how well she recovers." Patch thought back. They'd been so sure of their plan. The Hamelyn piper had been vulnerable, they thought, hiding out in the forests of the Ortings with a small group of his own soldiers. They'd known he'd created a suit of magical armour, one that would make him an even more powerful piper than before. They'd known that he was looking for an ancient amulet that would grant him immortality. Even so, they'd believed they would easily outmatch him with the army they'd brought. At least they would bring the evil piper to justice. Instead, it had been the Hamelyn piper who had outmatched them, ambushing them in Gossamer Valley with a huge army of mercenaries. They'd not stood a chance. "Wintle was so brave," said Patch. "You all were." "We did what had to be done," said Myrta. She gave Patch a kindly smile. "But it's Wren we all owe our lives to." Patch clutched the cross-eyed owl, feeling tears prick at his eyes. Wren. She'd come up with the only plan capable of saving them, a plan that meant sacrificing herself, but which allowed their entire army to escape certain destruction, magically transported to this unknown place. Unable to speak, Patch simply nodded. He felt like everyone in the camp had said it, or something like it, in the last few days. Every piper, every soldier, seeing Patch's heartbroken face, would put a hand on his shoulder and say, "She will always be remembered." And he wanted to scream at them to shut up, because they all thought the same thing. Even Aaliyah, and Tobias, and Myrta too. That Wren was gone forever. Dead. And that was why he felt so alone at night, once Barver had gone to his father's cave, because Barver was the only other person who hadn't given up hope. So, here sat Patch, looking at the sunrise and waiting for his friend to wake up. At last, he heard the sounds of movement from the cave, and a few seconds later, Barver sat down beside him. "Morning," said Barver. "Morning," said Patch. "Can I?" asked Barver. Patch nodded. He took the precious owl from around his neck and set it in Barver's hand. Barver held it tightly. They sat in silence and, together, thought of Wren, hoping.